Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time to the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermore. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert, coming at you over the airways on WNTF. Never mind the furthermore. Now, we are really glad to get to you in this happy Friday, but before we get into our show, the shenanigans and lots of discussion, I have to pay some bills. Now, we all know that if I don't support the incredible IndieCD.org, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. If you go to this link, folks, you can join the Independent Creator Directory, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, musicians, deranged wombats. No, let me fix this. No, and no. Oh, wait, maybe. We'll see if that's relevant. Ooh, okay, that's cool. The Independent Creator Directory is your place as a creator to find where you can be online, have your stuff presented with none of the drama and friends have I been. Your dear Uncle Nick's been enduring all the drama lately online, and that is okay. I just got a wonderful picture from Kelly Austin, so that's what threw me off. It's internal for one of her projects, and it's just phenomenal. But she's actually on NDCD, isn't she? Joe, isn't Kelly Austin on NDCD? Yeah, I thought so. Most of the people I have the privilege to promote are already there. It's a one-time fee of $40. That's a lifetime membership. And, you got to figure for Joe keeping the site going, that's going to go up over time as things go. So you really want to get while it's relatively inexpensive. And I'm not telling you to go to Joe's first podcast, his podcast 1, if you will, and look to see the secret code, that can get you half off on your membership. I would never blow that out there and say that you need to go to podcast 1, like one word. I would never do that. So I'm not gonna suggest that you do that to get half off, but I'm gonna say use this link because then it shows Joe that I am actually paying my bills properly and referring, so he knows I'm putting in the hard work. Because I work weird schedules and I make things happen. So support IndieCD. We're also made possible. Oh, wait. We need to put that away. Yeah, I'm going to click every button but the one I need to hit. It's going to be one of those days. Gotcha. Let's roll with it. By Haints in Hellfire, a dark secret has claimed 2 lives and is hunting an innocent child at the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. Only his aunt, a plucky reporter, her cameraman, and a very odd cat stand against the forces of darkness. Friends, if you love that Appalachian folklore, horror, eldritch mix that so many of us do, you really need to read this book. It is probably one of, if not the best novels I've ever written. It has gotten rave reviews in person. Guys, please, those of you who have read this, please, I am begging you on my, I'd be on my hands and knees, but you guys don't want to see a fat man have to get up from his hands and knees, do you? Please write a review on Amazon so others can see just how good this book is. I'm going to have to get into my accountability, but if I don't remind you daily, weekly, 3 times a week, whenever, that we are also made possible by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, my ongoing series of fencing manuals to help you go from "so I've never held a weapon" to being a formidable force on the battlefield. Also, all your gaming needs in form of melee and big stompy robots. Look into this. This is great. To the people who know, I know there's a lot of drama going on in like the battle tech sphere. There's a lot of drama going on in gaming in general. If you buy and play BSR, the only drama you should encounter is the golden rule of big stompy robots, which is, when in doubt, pick the option that blows the most stuff up. There's no real world politics in here. I don't have time for that. Sorry, I dropped one of my books. I also want to remind you that this volume, this beast of a volume, was originally supposed to be the 8th short story in this little quick read companion book, being Through the Thinning Veil. 7 great stories of the supernatural to chill your bones, some of which are based on my misadventures as a paranormal consultant. Some are absolute fiction. It's up to you to decide which is which. But readers, tell me. Reach out and tell me which ones you think are real, which one's your favorite. I want to know. # Through the Thinning Veil. Now, into my accountability. I have accountability. Yes, I have accountability. Something interesting happened recently in that, actually, a couple interesting things happened. My beloved beta readers, being Amanda and Trelena, who were fairly content. I know, because as Trelena has been reading her way through this, she's been sending me memes related to this, which means it's ultra niche. But my God, does that make my heart swell with joy. Now, the problem with it is I've gotten the look. Like, I have things to work on. Like the next one. Well, I was going to work on some, get some of my other projects done. The next one? Your other projects, like the next book in the Haints in Hellfire series? Other projects? I have some games I need to... The next one? I've literally gotten messages from people saying, "Nick, bought your book. More? It's like you guys have turned it into the seagulls going, mine, more. I'm 1,161 words into Haints in Hellfire 2. You are welcome. I will try to grind that out between projects, and it will be interrupted by any pay gigs I get, because, direct pay is good. This is hitting different, y'all. This is my first piece of fiction to ever outperform my my sword books. That impresses me. That means you guys like it. And then I was reached out by the lovely Miss Saren. Miss Saren has a history in doing some vocal work. And she is talking and interested in attempting to do an audiobook version of Haints and Hellfire. That's pretty darn cool. That's pretty darn cool. Because if I get an audio version, one, I could throw it up on Audible and make some of that big Audible money. Bang, bang, bang. And two, and delightfully do, it would mean that the people who are driving and doing things. So right now, because I'm pretty sure my beloved dear Trelena is watching, she could be listening to my book whilst she crochets and makes amazing amigurumi stuff for the upcoming Indie Creator Con, IndieCD.con in Fowler, Indiana, February 24th. Gosh, less than a month away. Less than a month away, folks. At the Purdue Extension Building, also known as the Annex, right off of 52. My plan, actually, if all goes well today, we'll be running down to Menards to get some stuff to fix a hole in the bathtub. And while we're there, I'm hoping to get some big plastic signage so I can make like event signs to put alongside the road so that you guys can get there and, know where you're going, because that's one thing that I've always complained about. So I am excited. I hope you attend. Right now, we've got full lineup. I'm just waiting for the money to start coming in. And I know a lot of people, that's not going to happen until the first of the month because paychecks. I understand that. I respect it. It happens. But I am very excited about this. We're going to have a lot of great creators all in one spot to serve you. And working on that kind of is affecting my accountability a bit. Now, I negotiated that. I'm writing the story. Been cranking out artwork, and I'm trying to use new tools on that because I have to develop multiple things at once. You know me. But the other thing we have going on isn't even something I did. It's the fault of the show. It's the fault of a conversation I had with our own Dan Hollifield. But Dan Hollifield, a few months ago, wrote a lovely Appalachian mythology story, is the best way I can put it, called Old Dan. Lovingly based on an image that I drew for him. Well, I drew on the show. And he has recorded it. And it is on the Dan Hollifield channel. It's about 20 minutes long. If you like Old Gods of Appalachia, and you are enduring the fact that they are on there, we take every so often we take one of our month breaks to recoup and recover, but we'll be right back, family. Well, if you're feeling a little withdrawal, listen to this. And then, if you want somebody to read your story with, shall we say, gravitas, reach out to Dan Hollifield. I don't know if he's looking for an audiobook career, but oh my gosh, he should have one, because Dan can melt butter with his voice, I swear. So, between that, the fact that we've had a power outage, and it's rather warm in here, I'm going to have to probably turn my ceiling fan back on. I'm having a great Friday. I'm going to get some more stuff done. I have stuff to discuss for my other show, which I may have to reset up because it got goofed up. And I have a picture that I'm going to just show you. I think I'm allowed to show you. Well, I'm going to anyway. This is from the interior. Oh, look. That picture is from Brian K. Morris's story, Harriet Houdini, for the anthology. Look at this. That is so classic. I don't know if I was supposed to show you all that, but I did, and it's awesome because Kelly Austin is awesome. Now, there is one other thing. There is a slight chance that we may have a guest on this program today. We may not. She made an offer. She honored her offer. I offered her an honor. Anyway, and we may have. She may come in. She may not. If not, you'll just have to deal with me. If she does, exquisite. But on the off chance of that, I also sent an offer to Nita because Nita joked about coming. And the idea of having Nita Lanning and our own dear friend Willow Schuyler possibly on would make for an amazing panel show. So, cross your fingers, cross your toes. They may or may not show up. No worries either way. I'm cool with it. But I'm excited that somebody was thinking about that. They were looking to, do we need to cover Nevermind the Furthermore while you're down? Like, oh, that's sweet. But you think a power outage would stop me? I was all set to have Nevermind the Furthermore by candlelight. With my phone set up and little candles. But with that, like I said, limited accountability because I'm doing a lot that I can't really just put out for you. We should get into your comments because I want to know what you guys are about and see if I need to motivate and elevate or just, lose my ever-loving mind. But I'm going to, okay. Apparently you guys are happy to see me because the comment dumps are hitting mid-comment dump. So, yes. Okay. Maybe. Oh. Dan isn't wrenched. I just saw that go by. Well, during one of the commercials, I'll see if I can't cross some streams and fix that. Because that's one I have to fix because it goes through my actual YouTube channel. I don't think Joe can fix that. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Trelana walked by behind Joe, and, I'm weak. She did. Cybocan, aisle 4. Anyway, let's get into the comment. And first through the door is our own Alex Creation. Boy, I'm a little out of it today. Alex Creation says, good more. Yes, we need more good. Good more. Apparently, Alex Tiefling's going full barbar. I'll take it. I'll take Barbarian Tiefling. Morning. With a little star. Yay. Hi, Alec. Getting ready for my formal. Excited, scared, but you're going to have a blast. You had a blast last night when we were running RPG night at the Benton County Public Library, which is part of why I'm a little scrambled. I was in full DM mode with no way to really prep because there were too many directions they could go. So it was a good time. And Josh Koepp is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, master of all things weather. And good morning, Carl Witzman is here. Hello, Carl. Good morning. And Josh must get more coffee, then I'll be back. We all need more coffee or coffee-like products. And hey, Alec, Josh, and Witzman, dude. Good morning. Wait. Sorry. Hey, Donna. I was clicking through. I almost let you by. I know you're going to say hey to me, and I'll have to chat you up a bit more. I just want to let you know that, the sky may be foggy right now, but is a clear path to my heart. Anyway, nothing but love, dear. And speaking of nothing but love and better voices than mine, the incomparable Dan Hollifield is in the chat. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. And good morning, Foxy. And good morning, Alsis Thesis. And hey, Dan and Thesis. Hello, Donna, Dan, Foxy, and Thesis. Everybody's getting their greetings on. And good morning, Thesis. I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm going to talk about things I'm excited about. And accountability. I was floored today when I watched Last Man Standing, Dan Hollifield. Both Dan and Donna were praising my new book. Wow, I am honored. I watched a little bit of Last Man Standing and realized I was tired and went to sleep. And then we lost power, which woke me up with I cannot breathe. So, yeah. But, yeah, your books are worthwhile. And that's where you get it. Go to lulu.com, get the book, have a great time with it. It's less than $5. That's, I do believe that keeping ebooks as low as possible is the right path, sales wise. Most of my ebooks, for example, run uh, less than $4, between $2.99 and I think $4.99. It's worth it. Just get the ebook. Now, if you have Kindle Unlimited, and this doesn't apply to Lulu, but if you have Kindle Unlimited and you really like an author and you know you're going to get their ebook, read it on Kindle Unlimited first, because they'll get paid the pittance per page that we get. Then buy it on Kindle, and it doesn't cost you anything to read the book and buy it that way, but it basically double pays the author. And let's be honest, guys, if Amazon's not going to pay taxes, they should pay us more, right? Can I get a heck yeah? I think so. Brothers and sisters, as we pass the collection plate around, feel free to take that money right out of Amazon's pocket. Now, Dan, Witzman Dude's head got even bigger after hearing us talk about his latest book last night. Well, you are welcome, Donna. I hope it was an enjoyable experience. And speaking of enjoyable experiences, morning, Dawn. How are you? Now, Dawn and I got to chat, and I had a wonderful chat with Dawn a little while ago about many things, including the vast importance of Dawn's fashionable felines. So go on Facebook and look up Dawn's fashionable felines. The what is it? The Adventures of Georgette and Buddy. Throw the link in the chat, Dawn. I know you can't make money because of financial support reasons, but you can at least get views. And Dan says, it's good writing, Carl. I started it and couldn't put it down. And Carl says, I'm almost as egotistical as my spy dude. Almost. Wow. Dawn may be eating 24 nuts this morning, but she's roasted Carl's. Dawn, good morning. Good morning, Carl. Hey, all. Hey, Grant Lankard. How goes the Cryptids project? Are people signing up? They really should. In fact, I skipped Joe's commercial. I got talking. I knew my rhythm was off, so I'm going to run Joe's commercial. And then we'll talk a bit, and I'll try to run Grant's next. Where did it go? One moment. A little bit of technical difficulty. Ah. All right, we're back. I'll be checking something. Give me just a moment. I have to repair this. And you are now wrenched, Dan Hollifield. The power is yours. Let's see where we were. Well, good morning. Yes. Don had just roasted Carl's nuts, and we were moving on, saying hi to Grant. Good morning, Grant. Hey, Don and Grant, and I'm going to mail your trading cards today and put some extras in there for you. Woohoo! I don't know whose trading cards you're mailing, but that's wonderful. I love trading cards. Hey, Don and Grant. Don, the spy is pretty egotistical. Of course, he's a lord of the realm when he's not off spying and nailing Aussie nurses. But does she talk like this? Oh, God. Now I want to watch the Sean Connery Bonds. Hey, Carl and Donna, did you get your comic yet? And, oh, thank you. I'm sure stuffing the mailers gets a bit crazy. That makes sense. Now I know where those trading cards and stuff are going. And good morning and happy Friday, Nevermore. It's Happy Friday, Independent Creator Directory. And we are glad to see you in the chat. Hi, Donna. Okay, we got greetings. Good morning, Joey B. Burnin. Hi, Joe, and anyone I've missed. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Foxy lady. And hey, Foxy's coming down the line. And I'm in a weird headspace today because the first Uber customer of the day was bleeping awful. Well, I'm sorry about that. I will say, if at all possible, try to step out of that and let them, don't let a bad person get more of your day than they already have. They don't deserve that power. I understand sometimes you can't do anything about it, but I do want to say there's no reason to focus on the negative if we don't have to. Because if it's not doing you any good, just let it pass through. Carl Witzman, hey, Joby, and no, Grant, we are waiting and trying to be patient. LOL. Foxy says, I'll probably be quiet today. Migraine makes following things harder. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with the migraine game. That's never fun. Don says, as of yesterday, still no box from you and Thesis, but I'm keeping a diligent eye out. Don, we finally have an update on the swag. It left St. Louis at 2:51 this morning. Poor Foxy. And I can't remember what day I mailed your package. Yes, everyone laugh. Laugh, I say. But it should be getting there any day. Yay, updates. Grant, what are days? I never know what day it is. You mean days or days? 1 minute warning to turn down your sound. Thanks. This morning's coffee is dedicated to Foxy and all the people who stayed up late to chat with Donna and I last LMS. Well, I stayed up as late as I could, and I actually hit the wall of tired. I did not expect to get up at 6 this morning. Ugh. But that's why my lovely wife is back asleep, because the power came back on, so our breathing machines came back on. And I wasn't going to go pull the battery bank out, plug everything in, switch over to that for like 2 hours. Nah. Good morning, all. Good morning, Trelena. And thank you, Trey, for being so generous as to receive my brother's request concerning potion bottles. It's, you are doing some great stuff, Trey. And it's the great Trey. Morning, Trey. Good morning, Dan and Trey. We've got morning, Trey. Dawn, everybody. Grant says, I quit Ubering today because I was getting frustrated. I need to get better at promoting my comics so I can quit my day jobs. It's a weird world. I've been watching, and best I can tell, the only way right now to make comics big is to have a big personality out there. And oh my goodness, friends! Now normally I would keep prattling, but I need, and it's showtime. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, it is showtime, because my chat, my little window of world just got. Sorry, I'm used to looking down and seeing Joy make faces at me. This is much, much more amusing. Okay, now I have to stop. And we're going to close this for a moment. I'm going to be operating under standard guest clause, guys. which means my responses to your messages may be delayed or absent because I am about to be incredibly distracted. And don't worry, you will be too, because we are joined by the one, the only, the effervescent, yes, the love of the North and the envy of the South, our own Willow Schuyler.
Good morning, everyone.
Round of applause. Hey, Willow, it's been a long time no see.
No kidding.
So what have you been up to?
Trying to find a full-time job.
I think everybody's fighting that fight here. But you have become a tour de force. I've been watching. I don't want to say watching your career, but you're one of those people that makes me very, very happy. Because like I watched you when you first came on, and you've grown so much as a broadcaster, and you're so much more comfortable and like zen, and it's just really cool.
And I'm still also able to laugh at myself because one of these days I will piece together like all the little flubs that I have done with all my shows, and it's all just brain farts.
You know what? I'm pretty sure that we could do a whole show of the times I've crashed, banged, hit things, hit the ceiling fan. And frankly, I am kind of shocked that some of the more video editing fans haven't gifted me with that yet. So don't worry. That's the great. You're looking at a guy who's been trying to get his backdrop back up for like a year and a half, and I really mean to. At least you have a really cool background, and we actually do have some.
The mess that is my living room.
Well, I love the poster image over.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it hits that noir button so hard for me that I like, the old Sam Spade, Peter Gunn, stuff is just playing in my head, and I'm absolutely here for that. Don't bring up torch singers.
No. The play that I did like once. They ended up cutting my character.
Oh,
throughout the rest of the show, but that's okay. The fact that I actually made it to the stage,
yeah,
is a miracle.
It's like I tell a lot of people. People will be out. I'm not making much money on my books, and I don't know if I'm a real author, or I'm a real. Wait. Did you do something? I want to look at your imposter syndrome because it's firing up real hard. The stage is a lot like writing in that millions of people. Someday I'll do it. Someday I'll go on the stage, and they'll be doing their job and daydreaming about the glory of acting and all this other stuff. Just like the people, I'm going to write a book. Yeah, I got this idea for a book. It's amazing. And then, so 99, honestly, yeah, about 90% don't even try, And then the 90% who actually try never do anything public. Like, they write a book, but it sits on their hard drive till they die. And it gets deleted with the things they don't want people to know after their death, Wipe my hard drive, but not that thought. Oh.
Did Neil Gaiman say just do it? Like, for those who keep coming up to him to say that they hope to be a writer, just do it already.
Yeah.
Because if you don't write it, someone else will.
Yeah, it really is. And I encourage. I really believe that everybody should at least take a swipe, like a swipe at writing, either fiction or just something they know about their life. Just write down the stories because I'm a historian at heart. And there is this gap that drives me nuts because you hear the history about these are how the important people lived. And it's like, that's well and good for like 1% of the population. Can we talk about reality now? So I love the stories that come out where somebody's telling war stories, and they're like, we got bombed and I fell inside the porta-john and missed the whole, I was down in the bottom of the outhouse up to my, missed the whole battle till they fished me out, the little real things. And I know it's a silly way to go, but everybody has a story, and you do so much, and you put so much out there. It's really cool.
You know, the thing is, everybody else seems to have like these cool little ideas, and it's just like I want to see it happen. I want to. I want.
Yeah,
Like, okay, someone in my city will be like, hey, let's do like a fundraiser or something, and it's like, let's do it.
yeah, yeah. And that is so necessary in our sphere because there are so many people. Some of them are in my chat. I see you. I see you in my chat. I know I'm not talking much. I want to shout out to hi Miss Saren. I want to say hi to Miss Saren because she's going to try this absolute mad lad of a beautiful woman is going to try to turn my book, like do an audio reading of Haints and Hellfire.
Oh, okay.
So she's just like, I want to try to do this. Do you mind? Oh no, not something like that. Gosh. So we've had chat, which means I've had to talk about the inspiration for a lot of my characters because it's like, how do they look or sound in my head? And I can go, oh, this person is based off of my son's favorite movie of all time and one of my favorites, A Dark and Stormy Night by Larry Blamar. If you like absurdist humor and old movies, Larry Blamar's the guy who did The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. And if you haven't seen that is a film classic. If you love hokey 50s movies,
I'll have to look that up for sure.
Yes, you do. But he did an homage to the old Dark House movies called The Dark and Stormy Night. You know, where on this horrible night, everyone is gathered for the reading of the will, and everything goes wrong, and there's like murders everywhere, but they're all stranded in this house. Jennifer Blair plays a reporter by the name of Billy Tuesday, who has more moxie per square inch than any human should, you know. Hot cha, let's go. You know, I'm gonna get the front page for this one. It's like, oh, I mean, sad. There's a murder. Oh, that's tragic. It's like, I love this. So she was really inspirational to making this book, and I had to admit this, and I had to admit all the characters. Like, okay, if you want to know what they sound like in my head, they sound like this person, and it's delightful. But for all the creatives out there, we need people like you to sometimes just give permission. You need somebody to say, yeah.
I'm the cheerleader that like cheers people on when I see someone doing something good. It's just like, yay!
Isn't that great though? I think it's the greatest job in the world to do that because you get to see people go whoosh, like fireworks and just sit there like
I get jealous just like everybody else. And there's two ways that you can deal with it. You can deal with it being a harsh, rude person and spew hate, or you can, push down the jealousy and be like, be proud that they're actually doing something good.
Yeah, and I think you maybe it's great that I love how my universe works. I'm sorry. Whenever I need to talk to somebody, it pops up. You know what I mean? Out of the blue. It's really easy in the jealousy of somebody's ascension in their field to lose sight of and not be able to see how well you're doing in your own. Yeah. Because as a broadcaster, Willow, you are just kicking butt and taking names. I check you guys, all of you who are active with your YouTube channels. I check your numbers. I want to see how you're doing. Because if you're suddenly doing really well, I want to applaud it. Then I want to figure out what you're doing. I mean, I suffer with a handicap of a face for radio, but, I make it up with it with way too much personality. Willow has been blessed with beauty and wit, so she can just do the whole charm thing. And, you really are. Your Cryptid Crunch is a great program. It's always entertaining. And you always manage to stay upbeat. And that is increasingly rare in the YouTube verse, So many people shortchange the Gumby.
I always say that with my show, it's a very tongue-in-cheek look inside, like the Myths, Monsters, and Legends. And I have no idea how, there's so many creatures out there to talk about.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like that's why I'm constantly asking, hey, do people know about this creature? What's going on? Please come on my show and talk about it.
Yeah, it's well, you know what? I'm going to ask because cryptid. I get labeled somehow a cryptid. I don't know how this happened. Now, I will fully and openly confess that I have been an urban legend at points. I mean, I literally have done that, but not a cryptid. I'm just a normal, short, fat, furry little man. Not harmless. But um, what got you into the niche field of cryptidness? I'm just intrigued.
Johnny kind of invited me to do it, and like honestly, I've always been intrigued by the paranormal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've always wanted to go on tours and stuff like that, and I like going on TikTok and having those stories come up on my feed. And my my province where I live, we have there's stories of a cryptid, but it's a sea monster. But I mean, we're we're a province that has lots of lakes, so having these little lake monsters pop up every so often is intriguing to me.
Oh
but
no, absolutely.
We also have the story of the alien crash. And I touched on that last year as well. But it's just like, okay, so did this actually happen? Like, did it? And I like to try to debunk stories and just kind of come up with reasons why stuff has happened or what people are actually seeing.
I see. I love that because little Nick, little like elementary Nick. I can still tell you in my elementary school where the Lake Monster, Bigfoot, UFO section was in the library. And you go around, come in the far door from the front, come around. It's in a little alcove, up here, and I always have to get the little rolly. The rolly looks like the bottom half of a Dalek stool.
Yeah.
To climb up and pull. I had all those books memorized. I read them all because I love lake monsters, and a lot of people will on the side. Yeah, I'm gonna go on to lake monsters. Why not? A lot of people who pay attention to that kind of come to the assumption that it's a sturgeon.
Hmm.
A lot of times when you really pay attention, they have weird behaviors. Now, I'm originally from Oregon, way northwest, right by the Pacific, right by Mount Hood. And there's a place called the Bonneville River Dam and Fishery where they have all these fish, but they had this huge pond tank with a glass wall that had their sturgeon in there. And the sturgeon are 15 feet long. And being a little kid, I'm like, those are my goldfish. I want them. Can I go swim with them? No, you can't go swim with them. They're not sharks. They don't have teeth. I can swim with them. No, you can't go swim with them. So I love sturgeon because I'm sorry, your lake monster isn't a monster. It's just a prehistoric armored fish that gets 15, allegedly 20 feet long and, weighs a ton. It's only been around for a few million years. That's monster enough for me.
Yeah.
It's like when they say, well, the Kraken was just a legend and they're giant squid, but a squid longer than a school bus, just because you slap a scientific name on it and go, yeah, we understand it, does not turn the wonder off in my brain to say that there's a monster. But I love that stuff.
We have goldfish. We have catfish. We're known for our gold eye here.
Okay.
but I honestly wouldn't go fishing in the Red River because you might pull up something else other than a fish. But
I live not terribly far. Well, I grew up not terribly far from like Gary, Indiana, and Chicago and stuff. A lot of the rivers and things around here have things that you might not like. I've seen some weird stuff in Lake Michigan out by the steel mills too. So
yeah, but like there's good fishing towards like the White Shell area, which is known for the alien space crash. We also have ghost stories, like every other city, and
right.
But so yeah, I love learning all about that.
May I ask something?
Yeah.
Have you considered reaching out to? I assume you guys have a local tourism bureau.
Yes, I actually took part in every year we have what is called Doors Open, and the local tourist companies open the doors of our historical venues and actually do free tours of some of these places. One of them is called the Vaughan Street Jail, which is downtown Winnipeg.
Okay.
And it's an old jail that was built in the 1800s. This thing has like quite the story, and the tours company that does it every year allows people to come in and pose as actors, and people who they actually give out real characters to portray that of people that actually stayed in the jail.
Oh, that's cool.
So I portrayed a woman one year that actually was one of the people who started the Winnipeg strike.
Oh wow! Okay, see, I love labor history. I'm sorry, it's so neglected in America because we're kind of turning into an oligarchy. Anyway. So,
it was one of the biggest strikes, labor strikes in Canada, and
that's amazing.
So it was fun to portray her, and I did my little spiel. Unfortunately, I don't have it on I don't have it on video, but
that is tragic. But
I'm sure if I hook up my other computer, I could find the speech and recreate it. But I had a lot of fun doing it. Like I got to greet all the people before they entered the building, and the story with the Vaughan Street Jail is one of the last times that they hung someone for murder. His head popped up. So yeah.
Well, that's why it was considered a spectator sport for a while. You never knew what was going to happen.
So there's that part of history of our city.
What I love is, and I'm going to have to, because a whole bunch of people are saying hi to you, and it'll be good for your ego to see all that. But at that moment when you told that story, my cursor was literally over Don Dulas making a comment about twisting your head. I live for this stuff, but let's see. I want to make sure that you get all your greetings before we lose track, and I'm a little behind. So Carl said, Willow. And Donna said, hey, Willow. And good morning, Willow. And hi, Willow. And hello,
Good morning,
Willow.
everyone.
Everyone loves you. I want to remind you that. And I think I pulled a muscle turning my head quickly to see Willow, which is the twisting your head or turning even. Guys, hold on. I need a moment now. Really, I didn't think I'd have to do this with a guest. I thought you could behave, but no, now I'm going to have to chastise and remind you all that this is not the green room. Okay. Now, and I'm not even going to ask which. Jeez. Okay, I flashed the. Really, Foxy? Okay, I love y'all. But, wow. Okay, we're going to skip all that comment for a bit. They're just laying into Carl, who had to break up a cat fight, and hope you meant actual cats. Otherwise, I'd want to watch. God, I love Good Morning. This is a Friday crowd. Can you feel the energy, Will? Let's see now. When I was younger, those words meant run to the back of the bar. Now it's grabbing full middle for naughty feline. And apparently, you're going to cosplay a spy.
I told them to send me the specs on the costume because I think the next comment is the reason why.
I have heard the phrase assault cleavage in this circle, and it is a wonderful phrase. It does delight and entertain.
You have my attention. Now let me know what the character looks like so that I can cosplay her.
Well, all I'm seeing is, I don't take this horrible, but Natasha from Bullwinkle, like Boris and Natasha, with like, she's got, because it's how my mind works, she's got her black dress on and everything, and then she has like the old style nurse's outfit over it, going, is moose and squirrel. You know, I know that's not right, but yeah, that's where he is. Homage? There's that word again. Yes, I better not find out it's an insult. Oh, God. Brant Lankard makes some great commercials. That's one thing I need to do with you, actually. Have I sent you the link to the secret, it's like my secret ad folder or secret file folder. It's a Google Docs folder.
Oh, yes, you did.
I have every commercial I run and a bunch of other related things, stills and stuff on there. If you want to run any of that on your shows, and if you have any that you have for your shows you want to drop in there so I can like promote your show, please do so.
Sure.
If you've got like a bump, because like you guys do so much. And it's weird. It's like the rhythm of our shows is just always off enough that I rarely get to get on yours. You rarely get to get on mine. But every time it's like, this is great. I need to do this more often. But it's like I live in the morning slots usually, and you're in the late night slots.
Well, it's funny how like Johnny for the longest time has been like all about staying on task. You make sure that we end at our shows are only an hour, blah blah blah, and then he's just like, you know what, do what you guys want.
I kind of, the rails have been gone so long. I just am in free fall, hoping it entertains. Wednesday's show was a 5-hour show because they wouldn't let me go. Like, guys, well, they were ready to let me go. I'm like, I am 4 minutes from 5 hours even. I might as well at least do something to make it the 4, because at this point I see a milestone. I'm going to cross it.
Well, our Saturday morning show has gone from an hour to 2 hours now because of the fact that we end up talking so much about like the new loot that we get, the cereal that we were eating, and it just like by the time we actually get to the point of the show, like 45 minutes has passed.
Oh yeah, you could do that in a heartbeat. And also, and let's see, we have this great question that says, what constitutes assault cleavage? Want to know if I qualify? And Carl says Carl says it's all in the usage, Foxy. And Foxy says, because I am well supplied. Wow, guys, not the green room, sadly. I don't know if Alec is still in the chat. We do have a minor, so be sure to keep it PG-13.
Oh, I'm sure they'll learn all these big words by the time they reach high school.
Oh, I'm fully aware of it. It's just because I work with children in the community, sometimes I have to be like, Public Nick says. This is totally me all the time, Public Nick says, but I do know, Carl, I do know assault cleavage because I witnessed one of the most glorious moments ever. It's a 2-part story. My wife is well endowed. We'll just put it out there. But she tended, especially then, to wear very baggy, you don't see it things. Yeah. And the first time my buddy Jason saw her in a medieval dress that, lived and presented. I had a bud. Like, I'm not a jealous guy, but you're gonna hurt yourself if you don't like move your head and stop. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I know it's your wife. I'm not trying, but dude, trust me, I understand. Dude, I get it. She was in something we called the Magnet, a red velvet number that just made the world a very, very beautiful place. Now, she had another dress that was it's not Venetian, but it had a little clasp that kind of gave it some extra tuck. And we were at an event, and she breathed out too hard, and the clasp popped, and they did this, And Jason, and they went, dude, it's not my fault. They jumped at me. I'm looking at them. You can't even hold against that. So yes, I have seen assault cleavage in its time. Oh.
Sadly, buttons and zippers are not my friends very well either, so I feel her pain.
Oh God. Everybody's gonna be primed for the green room tonight. Yes. That was a booby barrage. God bless us, one and all. And up. Willow, when is Cryptid Crunch on the Multiverse this weekend?
I believe that is 11 a.m. Central.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to double check my schedule here. Yeah, 11 a.m. Central. So that would be 12 Eastern, and you guys are just going to have to humor me and look up your own little thing.
We have to do
if you're somewhere else.
This is a delightfully international show because we occasionally get the folks from Denmark, and we get Johnny Cage, who is a wonder to behold. I think he's currently in Brazil. So, time zones and concepts like cold is a real thing. Gets kind of spicy here. But, yes, I am an urban legend. I've told that story before. I can again if need be. But Ogopogo.
Ogopogo, yeah. And then we also have like the knockoff Manapogo.
It's funny because the last time I was in Canada, and it's been 20 years? Almost 20 years since I was in Canada. Yeah. Wow, it's been over 20 years. Now I feel old. Thunder Bay is on Lake Superior. And they have this trail that goes out, and it's about this wide, and there's a chain that hangs out so that you can see these cave drawings that they did of Mishapeshu, the Great Lake God Serpent. And so the last time I was in Canada, I was hanging, because more me than this is meant to be, hanging by this chain off the edge of this cliff over Lake Superior, where the guide's like, just so you know, don't fall. The water's too cold, and your body will never come to the surface. So just don't fall off the cliff. It's like, thank you. He's more polite than that, but it was just bloop, dead.
Yeah,
that's nice to know. But so I love lake monsters. They're actually one of my favorites.
Although I see, the thing is with us here in Manitoba, like when it comes to lake monsters, I'm sure that it's not as spectacular as they are down in the States. Our lake monsters are more like either snakes or giant frogs.
We have a bunch of that. Shoot, not far from me is a
snapping turtle.
Yeah, actually, I'm not far from the beast of Busco, the Churubusco turtle. I've been there. I've been to the place where it was allegedly sighted.
Oh, okay. So they just talked about that on last podcast on the left.
It's so cool. They're actually, because when we moved down here, I'm like, okay, I want to know what's going on. I'm moving into this area, and it's delightfully boring, except in 1890, I think, a fire-breathing serpent was seen coming up through like a drain aqueduct. I'm losing the term, but it runs under the road to this cemetery in Oxford, and it was eating the corpses. It was like burrowing up and eating the corpses out of the cemetery and digging its way through. So I'm like, well, that's delightful. I mean, you don't hear about fire-breathing, corpse-eating serpents often in Indiana. I mean, I joke about the corn sharks regularly, but most people don't take me serious, and that's their mistake. No. But yeah, let me. I'm going to scroll through and see if anybody else is like, okay, I have a comment dump. Okay, here we go. Now I have to figure out where we are because I forgot to tag it. And guys, while we're working on this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I forgot to tell you, this broadcast should be set up if you wanted to hop it to any of your channels and get some free views off of it. You're more than welcome to. Because, I'm all about getting people's numbers up. But let's see. Assault cleavage. Assaulted by cleavage. Sorry, guys, our camera's cutting off above it. Sucks to be you. I'm in a mood, too. And at least there's an appearance. Let's see, I make appearance over his shoulder. You love lake monsters because you are one. Okay, my spirit animal is a manatee. Okay, as I say, and I'm going to be making pins of don't hate potate, and just just float, because floaty potatoes are awesome, and that would be my ultimate form of hedonism. I have just become a floaty potato. I eat, I float in warm water, and I have no stress. This appeals. I've done the abandon the modern, embrace tradition, floaty potato. But okay. Don Dulas is in listening mode. Sturgeon are neat critters. They're literally my favorite fish. And same can. Oh yes, same can be said about Lake Michigan by the Mills. I have seen some really interesting things. Whilst under the water at what used to be the Portage Beach and Riverwalk before the lake decided that its undertow was enough to eat the beach. There's some big stuff down there. And look, I caught Jimmy Huff. He's been in the Red River this whole time. No wonder we couldn't find him. And don't mind me helping out. Strips the cat is exploring my office and bathroom. I am dyslexic, and occasionally word order will warp around. I almost didn't open that. And let's see, peeked in the back. Oh, your dad caught a sturgeon a few years back. Was the only one caught in that area that was reported. That's cool. I do love that because, any sturgeon and coelacanth give me that hope that really neat stuff is still out there. It's just enough to go, but is it? Because people have been seeing weird stuff, dinosaurs and stuff for centuries in places where there's no reason for it. And okay, thank you. I will try to get that fixed, assuming my system lets me. Or the Mighty Joe may update your folder. And I do apologize for the delay in running Joe's ad. He updated it and it got moved around, so it wasn't where I was used to it being. Let's see. Your dad.
I know how that is.
Wow. Dawn, your dad must be a master. We've caught such a great fish. Grant. I might be odd. Okay, you know what? That was such a
You are people here, Grant. It's okay. We're all
Grant, that
here.
was such a horrible ad. The situation. The only thing I could do is give you, a minute 26 to sell your comic. We'll be right back.
Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, Chupacabra. For millennia, these creatures have perplexed the human race. But what if they are forces of good? What if they have been sent here by a federation of more advanced alien species to help and defend the human race? That's the premise of League of Cryptids, a new comic book by Grant Lankard, creator of the smash hits Beowulf and Memoirs of the Morbid. His new comic, League of Cryptids, is a 4-part story involving these 5 creatures banding together to defend Earth from an invading alien race, just as one of their members is losing faith in the human race and questioning their mission. The epic tale begins in League of Cryptids 1.
Grant makes great comics, and
Yes, he does.
I'm glad to see some positive energy thrown at your general cryptidness. And I do love the points where cryptid and folklore start to overlap. You get good things. It's just it's juicy, you know? And I firmly believe that sometimes, even if scientifically it's not true, even if logically it's not true, it makes my world a little more interesting to believe in some of the things that I believe just might be out on the, fringes of where I've been. And I've seen a few things in my time. Like I said, I was a paranormal consultant for a while, which I know people don't hear that term because I think I might be the only one who uses it. But for a period in my life, at least in Northwest Indiana and a little bit of Southwest Michigan, if something went bump or you had a problem and you weren't trying to get the guys to, we're going to, like Joe Doug McKeel, cameras, and you were going to ghost hunt this thing out. And you didn't have, for religious reasons, you didn't have a priest or, religious authority to talk to, people would get shunted to me. And, I do my dangest to debunk whatever's going on and, try to help. And if not, well, then I'd try to help with whatever might be, going on from a practical perspective. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. So I don't count certain things as believe in. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if you walk into a room and you get smacked around by something, belief is no longer required. You've walked into a room. I have experienced it. I don't need to prove it. We just need to do something about it. And,
see, that's the one thing about ghost shows that really irritate me is that you'd think that the last thing would be trying to communicate with them. I would be making sure that a priest or whatever, whatever psychic can clear the place out.
the whole, there's no. What happens? And I love ghost shows. I want you to understand this. I'm saying this from a position of abs. If it's a ghost hunter, ghost quest, ghost adventures, spook squad, whatever you want to call it, I watched them all. They do the same thing. They come in. I've got a problem. This has been happening, yada, yada, yada. And usually it's either scared mom, or it's business guy totally not trying to get more attention and free advertising for his haunted location. Or it's the person who's way too into their problem. Like, I have ghosts and demons. It's so bad.
Meanwhile, in the basement, they're conjuring up all kinds of stuff.
Exactly. And then they come in. Is anybody here? Give us a sign of your presence. And you know what? I don't blame the ghosts for kicking these dudes' butts. And in fact, I encourage it. Because, they're like, give us a sign of presence. Knock. Or turn a light on. Or something. And then, the light came on. Okay. Well, knock. They've knocked. Well,
You told them to.
yeah.
Why are you being so surprised?
Speaking to the EVP recorder, and you either get out. I love Get Out. I've walked into places and heard Get Out. Like, okay, but then they're like, okay, give them a name, and they'll be like, help me. We gotta help me. Okay, we're gonna move to another room. If you can establish, yes, one knock for yes, two for no, or whatever, and then they have like 3 words, and then they move on. It's like, no, you've established communication. Actually, okay, if this is legit and you're not full of BS, why is it there? How can I help you? Let's get this on. Let's sort this out. And so I look at it from the ghost perspective. I'm like, imagine this ghost is stuck in this place.
Yeah, they don't want to be there just as much as the ghost hunters want to see you.
Right. So then you have oh god, I love Ghost Adventures because I hate Ghost Adventures, so I love it. It's a very weird thing, but it's like, dude, Ghost Bros, bro, kick your butt, bro, come at me, he came at me. It's like, dude, you asked for it. A couple of these, I just want to see these dudes get their butts kicked because they deserve it. Because even if the ghost is like just a chill ghost, like I live here, or I'm here. They're like, well, it walks around at night and does its thing. It's not hurting anybody. You're not using the attic. So it's walking around. Cool. You have a roommate. It happens. But then they go in like, I go, man, and they front at the ghosts, wind them up, and they get their butts kicked, and then they leave. And I'm thinking about the house owner who's up next, like where now the ghost is all cheesed off. Like, I was just gonna be chill. I might stack your chairs once in a while, but now it's cool, and suddenly Casper's with the folding chair coming from behind. I'm sorry.
No, that you're saying exactly how I feel about ghost shows. And there was one show, I'm gonna have to say about 10 years ago, maybe longer. There was 2 British women that were going to haunted places, and they would actually take care, help the spirit
I think
move
I know
on.
which one you mean.
Which is like more responsible than ghost hunters, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I totally get there, and I want to bring up this comment because it's not real. It wasn't I know what it was intended to be related to, but synchronicity is struck again. Been there, busted that. Now I know that was by the timeline in line when I was talking about Mandy's attack boobs, but Foxy, yes, I am. Oh, there's a whole rant going on. Buttons and zippers are never friends to us greatly endowed women. This is true, but one moment, somber moment, ladies, on behalf of all gentlemen everywhere, at least of those who are interested in ladies, and the ladies who are interested in ladies, and the folks in between who are interested in ladies, I want to thank the buttons and zippers and togs and the seams that have failed dramatically for our eternal amusement, that have valiantly given their lives to free the girls. And I just want to say thank you. Oh, I could get in trouble for that one. Anyway, and Foxy War Carson, yes. Yes. Of course, it's a wonderful thing. And Cryptid Crunch will be out on the multiverse. And your network got renamed, or
no, we're still in the back of the cereal box.
okay.
I know Johnny was talking about wanting to redo my show, or like we were gonna talk about rebranding my show at one point. But I'm just like, you know what, Cryptid Crunch is if people don't get that I'm talking about a whole heap of stuff, then whatever. But
I think it's just a great concept, and it's a great
I wouldn't mind if looking at the redoing getting a new I need a new intro. And I've been thinking about doing it myself, and then I'm just like, okay, how do I want to go about doing this? But
well, I for that I really would recommend. He's going to be a little annoyed by me saying this probably. Carl Witzman does a wonderful job on intro. He made mine thinking it was temporary. The whole not encrypted, all the whole video and music and everything. But he thought until you get something better here, it was a gag. I've had threats of violence if I switch my intro from dear friends. It's like, no, that makes me laugh in the morning. You leave that up there. The mighty manatee man, master of marketing. Yes. Because obviously I take myself dreadfully serious. But no, I understand that. And I was wondering, because I'm seeing On the Multiverse, and I'm going, I don't know that as a specific program. So
we're doing the Multiverse fundraiser this weekend, which is to fundraise for comic books for kids. It's just a little convention that we do every year.
Wonderful.
The cereal box is kind of our network sponsor. So.
Oh, and I'm just scroll ahead because Carl's mentioned that a fundraiser for comic books for kids is a great charity. And
it is.
If anybody involved is watching, or anybody who has access, I know there are a couple commercials that have already been made for them. Again, throw it my way. I'll throw it up.
Okay.
I live for that 30 seconds to a minute commercial. I keep the guys who give me my 2 minutes just once to run to the bathroom or whatever. But and also, I will prattle with you as long as you like. So please let
me know what time you usually end your show, because I don't want to take up the whole.
Oh no, you don't understand. One, you're not taking up the show at all. You're making it. You're just the crowd is loving it. And two. Honestly, it's a blast. There are things I live for that we get to do as broadcasters. And one thing I live for is having somebody like you come up, and we're talking about something we're both kind of passionate about in that funny, geeky way, and I love the safety of geek passion in spaces like this, because I could flat out say, no, I know the science, I know the logic. And if you ask me, the Loch Ness Monster is a plesiosaur. It will never not be a plesiosaur, because in my mind, that needs to be a thing. It hurts nothing. I know it's a delusion, but there's a great secret to that. If you're going to be deluded, and everybody's deluded about something.
See, and here's me with the Loch Ness Monster. If it is actually real, when can I ride on it?
I have no doubt it would be game. I have no doubt Nessie would be like, come on, lassie. I'll show you around. We'll go to McGregor's Castle the fun way. Oh, that was a terrible accent. I'm going to be savaged for that, but that's okay. But yes, I'm really glad that. And we've got Wolf Breaker in the chat. I'm just scrolling through to see if there's anything relevant to you. Because the other great thing is, I'll be hosting my chat and people will go, here's an idea. Hey, I can do that. And business happens in my chat. Or I'll be like, sure, I'll send you a contract. Go do that. I used to get flack from people like, are you seriously like doing business in the middle of your live stream? Like, that's called transparency. What was I doing? Here's the video. Everybody saw it. But it's great what happens, because so many things. Oh, okay, this is a good one. My brother was a local cop. A lady called in that a kangaroo was loose in the neighborhood. Goes there. It was a deer. She had some chemical in her. Now, see, I would say, I'd say that, but there have been cases of kangaroos loose in, like, Northwest Indiana. One fun thing is there were emu sightings, and people were saying, oh, my God, ostrich and emu, because people don't know the difference. And they didn't realize that in southern Illinois, a bunch of the farmers got in on that emu craze that happened in the early aughts. And the problem is that they weren't really issued properly sexed emus. So a lot of people got whole flocks of male emus and whole flocks of female emus. And an emu is one notch from a cassowary, which is a modern velociraptor. You know what I mean? They can mess you up. They're big, powerful birds. But being that they didn't really know what to do with them, and good old boys that down south in the country, we'll just let them go. They'll die out in the woods or whatever. So in the National Park Garden of the Gods, there is a thriving, totally, they don't talk about it, but a thriving emu community out in the woods that have adapted. You know, Australian big old birds are adapted to like southern Illinois. And every once in a while, somebody will see an emu that's wandered too far, or, you know. And
that just blows my mind how there was like a war.
The Great Australian Emu War, I don't know what's better, that it happened or that they lost. It's just so delightfully. When like looking into that is one of those great things to look into. If you get bored, look up the Australian Emu War. And let's see. Thesis says I can't. Oh yeah. A lot of times, if you like I said, treat the ghost like it's an annoying roommate.
Yep.
And think of how they act.
I know. Prior to putting my cat Mittens down, he was always chasing around something in our house, but like here, this is one of the reasons why I felt like our house was like a portal and just a passageway to the other side, where spirits would just like pass through. They were friendly. They never did anything, but they loved to torment my cat. So they would float from I'm guessing my closet up in the upstairs, and then they'd make their way down the stairs and out my front door. So Mittens just became like the herder of these spirits, and just like
I that's delightful. Were they all like the whole time you've lived there? Has that been going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So every so often, it's just like Mittens would be sleeping, and then all of a sudden just jump up, do like this weird spin, and then up the stairs. And it's just like, what the hell was that about?
See, I love ghost stories like that. They delight me because you can find. I have some theories on ghosts that I paid attention to from just my own experiences and stuff. And one thing I've noticed, so I'm going to ask: is there a lot of metal in your house? Like,
probably it is an old house. Like this house is over 100 years old.
Okay. Well, a lot of ghost stories happen, and I've looked at the mechanics around them, and either they happen. It's a haunted jail, a haunted lighthouse, a haunted older house, or like a haunted factory mine kind of thing. And these are very specific institutions, you know. There's always ghosts. I mean, like here, you don't find them often at supermarkets, you know, even ones that have been around forever, you know, you don't find it. So I started going, why would the ghosts pop up here? And I realized that schools, that was the one I was looking for. All these things have a lot of metal, and they have major scheduled movement. Okay. So what my theory is, because we all have electromagnetic fields, right? I mean, we are walking magnets, and we're actually bioluminescent. We can't see our own bioluminescence, but apparently humans are actually bioluminescent. That's cool. Weird, but cool. So we've got a personal electromagnetic fields. There's lots of iron, and we're walking like lighthouses walks the exact same way over and over and over. And that's how you would make a compass. You take a magnet on a piece of metal, and now I'm not fully versed on how they actually work, and I will admit it. But a hard drive is just a magnetic disk that information is transferred to.
Yeah.
So I really wonder if a lot of the ghosts aren't just literal magnetic recordings on the metal, at least for the repeaters, because then it makes sense. You know, the things happen when there's lightning storms, so there's extra energy in the air. It could cause this is a quasi-scientific effect, but it could cause this tape to essentially play. And it's something I've toyed with for a while. And I think that's one it's fun when you start floating that idea out to people who've been around a lot of ghost hunts and stuff, because there's a lot, it's a logical theory. I don't know how to test it, but for repeaters, it makes sense to me. The other thing that a lot of major ghost activity happens is if you look at the geology, and yes, I've gotten this far into it. Again, major iron veins under it or quartz. And you can store data in a quartz crystal. And they have electric properties. So again, I wonder if, emotional outbursts are a burst of energy, like mechanically. I mean, we can feel that sort of stuff. We can't always explain it, but I think that's a neat path to understanding at least some of the ghosts, because my policy is if something scares me, I study it till it doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's where I got part of it, It gets weirder when you have like intelligent things, and then that's a whole nother ball game. Boy, I'm having a blast. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, cats are very susceptible to the environment, and if there's something out of whack with them, they'll let you know.
It's been proven that cats can see in spectrums we mechanically can't. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, them being able to see something that might be putting off either IR or ultraviolet that would, again, it mechanically starts making sense when you pull, I don't want to say pull the dogma out, but, people put all this information about ghosts, and it's like, some of this I can see how you got. Where are you getting the rest of this, But I love seeing that. And let me see. Donna likes to watch Ghost Hunters because she likes to hear Steve the ex-cop scream like a girl when he comes across a spider. Let's see. Johnny Cage! Oh, God. If you're on Twitter, please follow Johnny it's actually just JP7 Art on Twitter. He's an incredible artist. If you're comfortable with relatively to extremely mature artwork, not for the minors. Sorry, Alec, you're too young. But fantastic guy. He just happens to be a vampire. A footballer vampire. It's great. Applause, preach, Brother Nick. Oh, I will preach on. No. Dan says has been to a haunted pub in England, and I didn't know it at the time. Several of us avoided certain spots in the bar. Don't know why we just did. Turns out there were stories. That's the kind of thing I live for. When I can find double-blind stories, where you don't even know there's something that's going on, and you respond as though it does. It's just...
See, in Winnipeg, we have a couple haunted areas, and there is a pub called the King's Head Pub that is known, that has been haunted for years. And my mother's ex-boyfriend used to work there, apparently, and he told me all kinds of stories. There was one day where we were having lunch, and it felt like something was watching me. And this was around the time that I was smoking, and it just felt so uncomfortable that I had to leave. And I went and had my smoke, and then came back, and it felt like it was okay, but I just couldn't shake that feeling that there was something there watching me.
And see, because of my stuff I've done and other weird events that have happened in my life, I do not hesitate anymore.
Yeah.
If my gut says it's uncomfortable, Right, peace. I'm out. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
It's like, are you scared? No, this feels like a bad situation, so I'm not going to walk into it. A lot of times I don't even know what I'm, a lot of feeling comes from subconscious processing of, your surroundings. And because I was kind of trained by my dad to do stuff and some other things, I process my surroundings a whole lot. So it's like, I'll be the first to go, no, failed vibe check. I'm out. and just go. But let's see. Carl says, I was out of the room avoiding cat conflict, and Nick is volunteering me for another show opening. Okay. No, I'm recommending you. I didn't volunteer you. I voluntold you. No, I'm kidding. I recommended you because Willow said she needed an opening, and you have made the best opening I've ever had. So I was commending your good work, sir. I would never, ever and fudge and lever somebody to do something that might get them more fame, notoriety, or income. I never on this show would be like, let me be a footstool to you, and if you're not paying attention, I'll kick you in the butt to get you there. No, I don't know. But let's see. Sounds like Nick is ready for another 5-hour stream. Would it be the first time? Would it be the last? I figure she probably has a life, though. So whatever she needs to motor, we'll deal with it. But I'm fine either way. And doesn't it? It's not like our fault this time. Say about attending the meeting. I don't dare leave the room now. Donna will have me have to feed the cats today. Singing the Emu War song. Yes. Cats aren't bothering me. And for my viewing later, okay? And living in a spirit way station is certainly interesting. I now all I'm seeing is that there's just an escalator like running through her, she's doing her thing and you cut ghost vision and there's like the board guy, just keep going, stop, do not pass go. Nick, the lady in the woods asked me on a date, what do I wear?
Well, okay. Chances are she's the lady in white. So anything of like 1800s ish, late 1800s.
Victorian goth has real benefits here. This is the time to break out the lace cravat. If you're going, remember, if you're going to do something stupid, be fashionable while you do it.
I mean, play around with it, like bowler hat, the top hat.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe a cane.
See, he needs the riverboat gambler, that really nice. Yes, because Johnny is just problematically attractive, and I'm comfortable enough to admit that. And let's see. I grew up in a haunted house, says Foxy. Rarely bothered me. But when they did, I just told them to be quiet. And you know what? I'll ask you. You've obviously dealt with this kind of thing. What movie that you watched about ghosts, about hauntings and things, felt the most realistic to you?
Oh, The Grudge.
The Grudge? Okay. No, that's a I can see that. It's also telling, like leading into the Grudge says, okay, you had with a spicy haunting situation.
I don't know if I can say spicy. I just know I'm just like when I'm walking around my city, I know that there's a couple places here in my neighborhood. As soon as I pass by it at a certain time, I'm just like, nope, keep walking. Don't even acknowledge the house. Just keep walking.
Yep. The whole, if you look at this window, you'll see. No, I won't. That lovely fellow who's the representative of Latinos against spooky shit. Pardon my French, but that's a direct quote. If you get a chance to watch his videos, they're fantastic. But I love that. My favorite for talking about what a haunted house really feels like when you're living in it is at least the beginning, like the first half of The Others, that Nicole Kidman movie.
Yeah.
Because it's, everybody expects like the gory, nun in the living room going or whatever. And a lot of times it's just like the motion on the side of your eye, and you turn and like your mug was here, but now it's there. And you're like, is it my attention deficit or is there paranormal going on? You know?
That and 13 Ghosts. Like, 13 Ghosts is like an underrated movie, but
Absolutely.
it stuck with me for a while.
Well, I think the usually the more subtle haunting movies, to me, the slow burns get me. That's why of like the slasher flicks, the original Halloween will always be my favorite, because John Carpenter let half the movie go, like half to 2/3 of the movie go by before anything really dramatic, like bad happened. And it was just, we're going to slow burn, build you up. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But let's see. Thesis says nothing, Johnny. She will appreciate that. And Thesis has a point, and Thesis, your lifesaver. I am aware that because Johnny lives in Brazil and due to the heat, he's a borderline nudist anyway. And
there's been like apparently alien sightings in Brazil that
there are so many. There are so many alien sightings.
And what was up with the cloud formation a while back?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's almost like there's a whole bunch of aliens in places where there's large swaths of land that there aren't many people. It's almost like they're doing what they want to do, but kind of left alone, you know?
We're just going to climb this mountain and take pictures. And
they're just coming back to Machu Picchu again, you know? I have a running theory. The aliens, if there are things coming, they're probably actually just humans. Because it fundamentally bothers me that there's roughly 200,000 years of human development. You know, they figured out through bones and stuff. But only in the last, 10 to 8, we figured out anything like technology. When, right now, the orangutans are going through their Stone Age. They have literally started their Stone Age. They're building boats because orangutans can't swim. So they're, getting logs and moving things together and tool use and stuff. But my theory on the aliens is we developed a peak level of technology and we screwed up. And I think part of it happened in the White Sands region. Because if you listen to the... I'm the speak of the geek. The Aboriginal, the native people. And I'm sorry I've been staying so long, proper terms that aren't offensive have shifted, so I'm trying to keep track with respect to the language. But they talk about how in the White Sands there was a bright... The other people had something happen, and there was a bright light and a sound like thunder, and the land was blighted for 10,000 years, and anything born there was twisted and stunted. And, if you drank the water, it died. So the people left and were told to come back in 10,000 years. And they did. And, this is a rough approximation of the actual oral tradition history that's passed down by these people. It's like, gee, what could happen that would be a bright light and, make a whole lot of white sand out of something and then poison the land for 10,000 years? Gee, there's no device that does that. So I think they're us having gone somewhere else, and they're just checking back every so often. I'm not sure why, but that's my current theory. I mean, I'd love for it to be like a Star Wars, Star Trek kind of universe out there where all this exciting stuff is happening, but I think the physics would have to be a bit really out there.
I mean, they seem to go in, alien sighting seems to come in waves, obviously. We had the Miami 10-foot alien sighting, and then the Brazil sighting, days later.
Well, it's interesting because you'll find epicenters of the paranormal.
Mhm.
And very rarely do the people who are really interested in this stuff, they usually find like a niche. And you have like Bigfoot guys. And the Bigfoot guys don't really talk to the UFO guys. They don't talk to like the people trying to track down the Kentucky goblins, you know? And then you sit back and you go, I almost feel like I'm doing the missing 411, but for like supernatural stuff, because it's like you realize this is all happening in the same parts of Appalachia. You're seeing Bigfoot at the same time you're seeing alien, Skywalker Ranch, all these.
So I was thinking about this yesterday. So before me and my husband, we were getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden I hear one of my cats chirp, right? And I hear her, one of them enter the room. I'm like, come here, baby, come cuddle. And then it dawned on me, it's like, if this was the Appalachian Mountains, nobody would be saying that.
Oh, no, see, and it's weird because there is something about odd elevations. Like, the Appalachians are weird. I mean, they're older than bone and older than the rings of Saturn. The Appalachians are a strange place, where it's almost like time doesn't affect it the same way, because the linguistics of some of the long families that have been up there are actually preserving the Georgian. No, earlier than that, Victorian, no, Shakespearean era almost of English, and they realized that, and it's real. Linguists have realized that accent and certain types of the Southern accent are actually closer to what they probably spoke in England at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to envision Shakespeare not in the posh modern British theater accent, but in like the good Southern good boy accent. And I think that's fascinating. But for that to be preserved that well is odd. Not much linguistic drift. And these I find, and I'm these liminal places, these weird places between, are where interesting things happen. And I always find myself in them. It's like, I'm always on the coast, on the edge, on the riverside, always like between shifts. And it's fascinating because there are dots that can be connected. And I don't know if they are connected, but they can be connected. And
it's
you start
amazing
getting
how speaking of being connected, like the myths of European folklore has come over this way to the Western front, and like we're seeing a lot of the same myths and creatures here that they've been seeing for eons.
And see, that's the other great thing that nobody seems to do, and it's one of my mild passions. I treat the supernatural like flora and fauna. Okay, so I try to pull out as much as possible what I'm thinking about it, the spookiness and the emotion attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at like the stories of the Fae. You look at the stories of the Fae and the defenses against the Fae and what they did in England and in Ireland. And if you look at the legends of native, disconnected cultures in America, and they have remarkably similar legends. They call things differently.
Yeah.
And there is a list, and I can't remember it offhand. I've been trying to find where it was. But every single culture they find, once you find out their folklore, have some version of a vampire, some version of a werewolf, some version of these restless spirits. Totally unconnected cultures. I mean, when they find the tribes in the Amazon every once in a while, they start talking with them, they're going to have the same list of beasties. Mm-hmm. So my reckoning on all that is, if everybody has this list of beasties, there's something to it that is intrinsic to the human experience.
Yeah.
Either the mechanical failing of, we have a incredibly vivid imagination, so we imagine the monster out in the dark, and 9 times out of 10 there isn't, but that one time there is, there's a saber-tooth tiger or whatever out there. And us not going out there with tremendous survival instinct. It's part of how we made it where we are.
Yeah.
But, you look into it and you start looking at it, I don't want to say practically, but you start asking these questions, and that's how you get into things. Well, the Kraken, if it's an octopus, it's not that big. It's like the giant Pacific octopus gets up to 16 feet long, in diameter.
Yep.
When you think of the size of the boats and ships of the period, which people do not get how small they were. Like, I've gotten to go on a recreation of the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. At least 2 of them would come down to Michigan City, down Lake Michigan. And they're tiny. I mean, you look at it, it's basically like 2 semi-trucks kind of stacked on top of each other with a little bit more either side. Because we're Americans, we can't measure with anything, anything but the metric system. But these guys cross the oceans in this. And I'm thinking, if I'm in a boat that little, and there is a 16-foot octopus that might be reaching out to check out what we are, that's a big critter,
It just wants a hug.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They want to give you the best and last hug of your life. You won't ever need another hug. And let's see. There's some she likes flowers, but not flowers from the forest. Yeah, don't pick anything there. They're still trying to fix Johnny up. I have an interesting chat. This is not abnormal behavior. Anything, bring a drink or sacrifice, and I'm skipping. I think you already tested it, Nick. I'm guessing one is attached to yourself and keeps trying to write itself to each PC you own. Maybe that's why they catch fire. And Thesis says, don't sacrifice anything. Good advice. She won't like you taking any life. That depends which kind of white lady you're talking to. I really believe that most of them are the same kind of concept. It just depends on how you approach them, whether they kill you or not. Noted. Spring water seems a good choice. And Miss Saren's sharing Johnny's Twitter because people support each other. And Johnny saying, what a good girl. Well done, Miss Saren. That Miss Saren is. And nice art. Okay, I just don't want to miss all their stuff. Pets and small children. If a child says they don't like it, I tend to listen. Many adults just play it off as kid. Well, see, the kids haven't been trained to second and triple guess towards normalcy. They don't have a normal yet. Everything's relatively new. So I wonder about that. And from 1960, this is Grey Wolf Graphics. He's a neat dude. From 1962 to 67, we lived in an old farmhouse 8 miles east of Whiteland, Indiana. It was badly haunted. We'd see orbs and shadow people, etc.
Oh, wow.
I dislike with an absolute passion shadow people. That noise, and keep the whole hat dude out of all of this. Put some salt on your doorstep. We are not playing with these. Homie does not play. When in doubt, call the Catholics. They have professionals. They can fly them in. They can handle.
I never saw shadow people per se in around my house. It's usually in a dream that they show up.
And I think there are a lot of classes of shadow people, because there are ones that just like to watch. And I swear they just get off on you being scared. they're just, you'll go places where things are like, I'm staring at you,
And I often will have at least once or twice a year I'll have like the sleep paralysis where I'll
Oh,
be in
that's
the middle
rough.
of a dream and it's one of those freaking vivid dreams too,
Right.
and can't move, can't speak. You know, you try everything in your power to wake yourself up because of whatever danger is coming at you. Yeah,
That- yeah.
that the last one that I had, I dreamt of like two evil, like they look like little the little evil dolls that
Oh.
Halloween store sell.
Oh,
I dreamt of them coming through my window and my front, like my front door, and I had sleep paralysis because I was sleeping on my couch. And this was prior to my husband getting home, and it's just like, nope.
I've been there, and the what are you doing? I'm staying up late. Why? Because I know tonight's going to be a nightmare night unless I can get myself so tired that I'm going to like crash below the nightmare level because it's just one of those nights. What are you doing? I'm listening to music at 3 a.m.
And I can't talk to my husband about this stuff because he gets creeped out too. Like,
Well,
yeah.
well, it can be, but I still, I treat it like I actually had debilitating arachnophobia. I mean, like hardcore, really bad. Because when I was a little child, a black widow crawled on my chest, and I thought it was going to kill me in my sleep. I woke up and there was a literal black widow on my chest. And I knocked it off, and I dropped my big book of knowledge on it, and jumped up and down to try to kill the spider on the book and got in trouble for it. But that put a line between me and spiders. There's, but it scared me enough. I decided I'm going to learn about these things, and I've learned enough about spiders that I can actually kind of. I keep. We used to get these pork rinds real cheap, and they'd come in these big, huge plastic tubs. So they're like nearly. Nearly half a meter. Big plastic jugs. And I'm a short guy. I prize these things. And I have them throughout the house so that if I see a spider, I can just go, donk, wiggle, 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 let it get in the jug, and then take it outside. And I try to deport them unless they're like freaky aggressive or they're doing the descend thing. If I look up and there's a spider doing the descend on, it's done. It's going down. But you learn about what scares you, and then it scares you less. And that's why I've seen so much BS in my misadventures that you get to the point where it's like, dude, really? Really? Are we doing this here and now? Mother, It's like, now you annoy me. You don't scare me. You scare me enough, you startle me. It's like, oh, hex no. No. It's like my Michigan City upbringing starts to show in my vocabulary. But Miss Saren has some great advice. Get dressed every day, assuming that what you're wearing will be your ghost outfit for the rest of eternity. So there's a good chance that I'm going to be rocking a Hawaiian shirt, and I'm okay. And Johnny's saying, hence me being constantly naked. The things he can get, he's literally a Brazilian footballer. It's not fair.
It's just common, I'm sure. And especially when in hot weather, who wants to be dressed in the hot weather?
Yeah, I think he's too attractive. It would be a crime for him to be dressed. I understand. And Donna says my Italian ancestor has been around me all my life, and I do. It's weird because I am religiously a Christian. I was raised TV Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I married a Baptist. I read the book, so I'm not really good with knowing the history. I'm not good with a lot of the organizations. But that being said, I have instances like this where she'll say my Italian ancestor's been around me a whole life. I'll go, yeah, and it happens. Or I'll bump into somebody who believes in a different set of rules, and occasionally I'll bump into somebody associated with that. It's like, not my bus, but nice to meet you. Do have a nice day. And Miss Sarah's laughing about it. Dan says the pub was in Glastonbury, was over 200 years old, and was used as a circuit court. Oh, God. The spot I was avoiding was a coal cellar where prisoners were kept between sentencing and yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Huh.
Joey, looks like I'll be a very visible ghost since I'm normally wearing some form of high vis. That reminds me of the art project I have to do for that man, because between his high vis and his vaping, I need to draw him as a high vis dragon, like a really ornate dragon, but instead of being like normal colors, it has to be like construction yellow green with like the glowing stripes. I have to do it right, so it's one that's percolating. You'll be the ghost helping others ghosts to haunt you. Oh my God, his videos are hysterical. Okay. The man just know. Oh, I know who you mean. My hero, the representative, and he says his name, representative of Latinos Against Spooky. He'll watch a ghost video and goes, "Well, you got less spookies. So what you're going to do? You're going to take some Vicks and tahine. You're going to put it on your shoes. You're going to call your abuela, and you have her. It's hilarious. Oh, the Varkanita E.T. Fun story. Oh, okay. That's not one I'm fully versed in, and if you'd be willing to tell it, or even better, contact Willow, who you need to follow her. She's awesome.
That sounds like a fun show to talk about.
Yeah, she'd love to do a story, because we'd love to know more the paranormal from Brazil and South America in general. Man, I wonder if we can get Pedro Ang to talk about that, because I know he's got some stories. It's like, I mean, I don't want to be around people. Why would the aliens? Yeah. Was that where the two guys were wearing masks, Johnny, found dead in the mountain with metal masks?
Huh.
Oh, okay.
I think I have an episode for my next show in February.
You might have another one. I think those were the lead masks of Victim Hill, and I know I mispronounced that. Whole different issue. You may get a couple. You really need to reach out to Johnny. The collective unconsciousness is what you're thinking of, Nick. That is one of the things, yes. Also, phrases that are dangerous for me to say, but I'm going to say anyway, just for your amusement. The high strangeness. The high strangeness is an interesting entity, form, power, whatever, that you find when you start bumping into too many synchronicities. Like, this should not, and it does. It's like, oh, God, this is active again. That's why I'm retired. You know what retired means? Tired again. That's what retired means. Yay, danger hugs. Okay, I know where we are there. We have a shadow cat that runs through the house occasionally, and yes, that was before we got hobo. My former cats all had permission to visit, even from my wife, and occasionally they do. So, like, even when I didn't have cats for a while, I had cats. I find myself reaching down to pet something that isn't there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hi.
I get that. Like, unfortunately, I had to put two of my cats down last year, one in June and one just after Christmas. And so every so often, I'll get I'll hear either Simba or Mittens meowing at me, and it's just like, and it's uncanny how quiet my house is without them.
Right.
But every so often, I'll notice that my other cats are just like looking up and staring up at the ceiling, and it's like, well, if Mittens and Simba are here, please let me know because, I want to pet them.
Yeah. And like I said, I get that because that's the few that Mandy has, said, yeah, sure. And it is weird because I am living in a house for the first time in my life that is haunted. And it because I grew up in a haunted house, you start to get nervous if it's too quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like if weird things aren't happening for a long enough time that you notice, oh wait, they're saving up for something big. And so you start waiting for the other shoe to drop. Well, we moved down in December of 2019. And then 2020 happened, and all that. And I had some health issues that locked me down. But I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. So bad, the anxiety of I should be scared because they're not pulling something. Where are they? Was so bad I couldn't fall asleep. So till I listened to Mr. Creep's podcasts or something. I had to find something to scare me at the time I was expected to be scared to then be like, okay, I've gone through the catharsis. Now I can go to sleep. It was really weird. It's like I had to detox off of the environment,
Yeah.
That pressure wasn't there. And let's see, my youngest student is nearly 7 years old, a pretty good judge of things. We were walking one afternoon. I felt her shiver when we walked past the house. I asked her what was wrong. She just shook her head and said, I don't like it. That's enough.
Yep.
Because if you have that, guys, train in it.
And it's not just old houses that do that. Some of the newer houses in my area, I don't know, maybe it's just the land that it's on. Just and especially around where I work, there was one time where in between waiting for the buses, I just took a little stroll, and around there's like an old folks home in the area, and I just had this like really weird feeling. I'm just like, okay, let's go back to the bus stop.
Well, I mean, there are a couple of factors to that from what I found. People take hauntings and they go haunted. The next thing you hear is house or haunted, bar or haunted, whatever. A lot of times the haunting or other paranormal effect isn't attached to the building. It's either attached to a person or an object. I've dealt with a lot of cases where if you have a sudden onset haunting where nothing, your house was never spooky and then now it's spooky, all these things happen. I tend to ask, okay, you do any thrift shopping lately? Goodwill?
I try very hard to stay away from like the trinkets. I'll buy clothes, but
right. I thrive at Goodwill, but then again, I'll walk by things and go, no, and now, I'm
one of those people that already have enough spirits following me. I don't need a new one.
Right. You've been there, done that. You're like the opposite of Keisha.
My grandfather follows me every once in a while. He'll let me know that he's there just by like moving something or knocking stuff over, and just to be like, "Hey, I'm here."
Either my wife or son, as soon as you said knocking or whatever, came walking down the hall, and it's like thump, thump, thump. I'm like, that is good. That is just smooth. It's good. Because I know it's not because I debunk things. It's like, now see, I love debunking things. I love going, this is a fear trap, or this is high EMF, or hey, there's infrasound. This is good stuff because that's something you could fix. You go, you are not haunted anymore because you were hallucinating because you had enough EMF going that wrap a burger in tinfoil and it'll cook itself. But
I'll even get the odd scent of cologne. Like my grandfather used to wear Old Spice. So every so often I'll smell it and it's just like, okay, that can't be something that but apparently it's common for younger kids to wear Old Spice now too. But for me, it's just like, there's no way people my age are wearing, Old Spice, especially that particular scent.
Yeah. I fully understand that. And scent is the most powerful memory relation.
Mm-hmm.
See, one thing about my approach to a lot of this is the first thing I ask is kind of like when somebody has other sets of problems. Is this having a negative influence on your life? Now, some people really, like some people it is and they don't think it is, and they're really. I've had a couple. I've had a couple where I quietly went to religious authorities and said, I'm not telling you to go check out their house. I'm not telling you that they did this. So that at the end, if I'm ever asked, I can say, I did not tell them to do that. Because I did. Contracts matter, folks. But
Yeah.
But if it's not bothering you, and it's even if it's something that probably isn't what you think it is, because a lot of people have that, where I'll go, I could probably debunk that, but oh no, if it were a case, and I'm not saying you, I'm just using the thing of there's some piece of fabric in your house that happens to smell like Old Spice, but it's in a closet and you only get whiffs once in a while. Which again, I'm not saying that that's what's going on. But I've had cases like that where it's like, do you want to know what's going on? Or do you want to keep how you are? And I ask questions like this.
Yeah. My husband used to wear Old Spice deodorant, but it was like a different type. So
it's like it probably was Fresh Sport, and there is a major difference between that and Old Spice, and frankly, the recipe of the Old Spice, I suspect, is different than the recipe of the new stuff. Just from being I'm a dad. There are things that just happen. Old Spice makes sense to me. But let's see. Dan says, I think belief, like imagination, is a creative force. If there's enough belief, the thing believed in manifests in some way. Abso-fragging-lutely. I completely 10,000% concur with this. I may talk about this in a book I've been writing for a long time that I will probably never publish, but I may have to just to prove a point. But yes. And ironically, that is the foundation for a whole lot of very interesting systems. If you can believe it, you can achieve it, is kind of a thing. But let's see. Nick's doing another long stream. Hiya, Willow. And Alex back from class. And as long as Willow's comfortable sitting here and just let me know if you need a potty break, I'll run a commercial or something. I'm good because I live for this stuff. But thanks, Alec. And I don't mind spiders, except for black widows and brown recluse, which I'll quickly kill. The gray house spiders and wolf spiders, I don't bother. I usually don't bother with them, like I said, unless they're acting aggressive toward me.
Mm-hmm.
If they're rearing back and being cranky, I'm going to probably try to catch it. If I can't, I'll put it down. We also get hobo spiders. And hobo spiders look like somebody took a wolf spider and made it thick.
Oh, no.
So it's like a midpoint between a little tarantula and a wolf spider. And we actually had one come down the hallway. So we have these old kind of hardwood floor kind of hallways. And I could hear it coming down the hallway because it was that heavy.
Oh, wow.
It was actually, if you took this part of this is my squeezy that I put to make my water drinkable. But it was about that big in diameter, and the legs were a little farther than that. Just, and I'm like, oh no, jar. Okay. And I'm like trying to get it flipped. I walked a mile down the road, and I'm like, here's the deal. Tell your friends I've evicted you this time. Come back and I won't. And that was during the summer when I had looked out and I thought, oh, it's really nice because I used to go for long walks right around sunset. I usually do just for my leg problems, but I can't during winter. And I had my flashlight and I could see all these dewdrops and the whole. It looks like a sparkling sea almost, the yard.
Yeah.
And I realized we're under a fire, a burn ban, because it's too dry. And like the brain's doing the slow motion horror movie click.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, wait, if that's not dewdrops in the, I go over to like the closest one and I kind of take the cane and move a leaf, and it's a big spider. And I realize the whole yard is just covered in. They ride on the trains.
Yeah.
And they must have had a baby on the train, and when it stops to pick up the feed right behind my house, a bunch of them hopped off or got knocked off, and
Yep.
Nope. I love how we're jumping from ghosts to spiders. I hope everyone's not. Oh God!
When it comes to bugs, like I'm okay with this. Like I do the same thing. Like I'll trap bugs underneath a cup or something, and I'll take it outside. But as soon as it starts to crawl on me, I'm just like, okay, nope.
That's an act of war. I totally get that too, but man,
I try very hard not to kill bugs when they're in my house, or like if I'm doing laundry and I move something and there's like a spider or something underneath there, I'm just like, just let you be. I did not see you. Because we have bad mosquitoes in the summertime, and I'm just like, well, okay, as long as I'll let you live in my house as long as you keep the mosquitoes out.
Right. It's like there are ones. See, my wife is intensely arachnophobic too, and she's not as happy about it as I am. You know what I mean? Like, but she's also rather nearsighted. So what we end up getting in our kitchen every spring into summer are the little furry jumping spider dudes, and they're usually on the ceiling. So I make a deal with them. As long as they stay where she can't see them and they stay on the ceiling, they'll run around taking the flies and everything else we get, just because it just happens. You live across from croplands, you get bugs. They're fine. And I kind of negotiate. But you come down too far, she sees you. Now I have to try to catch you and deport you. But I don't want to have to climb on a ladder, hold up a thing, and try to get a jumping spider in a jar.
Yep.
So it's negotiations. But the other thing is, didn't you cosplay as Elvira fairly at some point?
Me? Yes. I usually do around Christmas. No, around Halloween. That's my yearly thing that I do. It is a fun costume to do, and although I'm not 6 foot tall, I'm 5'5".
Let me. A teaser is, if you can see, I have metal tins of both the Elvira. My dad had the cardboard Elvira, like the beer ads
from the coolers.
And my mom made sure they had an accident, but
I'm part of the Elvira fan club, so I have a bunch of posters and.
Oh, you're in good company. I love Elvira. Well, to get where I was going with it was, we're having this conversation, and I'm like, when we get to the end of this, there's a good chance somebody's going to have nightmares. And all I could hear in the back of my mind was the mistress of the dark herself going, "Unpleasant dreams."
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Willow has done that.
Yes, I have. She's one of my favorite costumes, and it's a popular costume to wear at Comic-Con as well. Like, a lot of people request that I show up as Elvira. during my for my sci-fi convention group, one guy brings in pinball machines. And so I'm like, is there any chance that you can bring in an Elvira machine? And he's like, I'll look into it. And he actually brought one in. So that was.
I'm sorry. The truck stop by near where I grew up and stuff, by my parents' house, has one. I think it should still be there. It's like, oh, it's so cool. Sorry,
I love pinball. Like, that was like one of the main games that I played at the arcade.
I am slowly, for my son and for myself, I'm slowly building an arcade downstairs. In that I have like a Hot Shots basketball, like knockoff, little one.
Yeah.
We have, we're going to be putting up a little tiny pool table down there. And I actually have a, about half size, so it's gonna about 8 feet long skee ball thing I need to put together downstairs because we live where there's no entertainment. So, and it's a good to break from Minecraft and video gaming to
it keeps your kids happy and busy and keeps you guys busy as well.
And it gives me a reason to go down the stairs because I hate stairs. Hi, Xander. I'm talking to my friend Willow. Do you want to say hi? No? Okay. I think he's laying in the hallway playing with the cats. My son kind of co-produces this program, and we'll chime in every once in a while. But
no worries.
Johnny said, "Brother, the Vargina ET is a long deal. The military took over the site in the same day. The guy who drove the ET had his body melt spontaneously. Whole deal. I think we have found Willow's new research rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have fun with that because I think that's the one I know of. But my problem is I have so many that it's like, okay, which one is it? But yes, so there's an old brothel not too far from me that was the site of some stuff a couple hundred years ago. I don't tend to talk about it, but it's a thing. Utah has some interesting things. And we have Carl's.
Nothing good comes up. It comes from being at a an old building that used to be a brothel. Never mind buildings that are brothels.
Oh yeah, excluding the obvious. I have no reason to attend such a place and haven't. I have no problem with their existence.
We have stories here in Winnipeg of brothels, so it's
okay.
Unfortunately, that I will let you guys know that I'm. There's a reason why I grew up in foster care.
Okay. and see,
I'm the product of the questionable side of Winnipeg.
And see, first off, there's nothing wrong with that, and I would never see that as something to hold against you, nor would I hold it against you. I consider myself first and foremost an artist, and there's a saying: artists are dangerous because they can travel in all social circles, and Lord knows I have. And it's really easy for people to judge other people, having no idea about the people or the situation or what's going on, and just be like, oh, they're this. Having been through, I've been at parties with billionaires, and I've been hanging out at Denny's with a bunch of people who got off shift and mostly changed other work stuff, you know what I'm saying? But are still turning every head coming by. And everybody's just trying to make it, and I don't hold that sort of thing against them. My personal thing is it should be legalized, at least in America.
Yeah.
The further beyond, and it should be monitored. And you just provide health care like a sane country.
Absolutely.
Would.
Absolutely.
And it's a service that's at least needed for now. Until the robots start getting good enough that you can possibly bypass the humans for doing that job.
Yeah.
But AI is coming for all our jobs these days. And we've got Sia Carl and this. And in that old house I mentioned, we had a big yellow tomcat that got hit by a car. For 3 weeks after he died, I'd hear him meow and open the screen door in the kitchen.
Oh.
When I didn't have cats after mine died, I'd be I'll lay in bed and I'll feel him jump up on the bed. And it's funny because right now I have 4 cats because I am a sucker, and what was going on was not going to harm the cats. It was one of those.
That's how I became the crazy cat lady of my neighborhood. So it's
and I have 4, so that means at the most I can only at night have 4 cats jump up on my bed. But there are many nights where I will feel all 4 of them, and most of them are like, because I'm the warmest thing in the house, like by my foot, by my ankles, by the small of my back, wedged between me and Mandy, and one's laying on Mandy, roached, because my cats are very interesting. I'm like, okay, everybody's here. This is a good night. I like this. Xander's asleep. I know where he is. My cats are asleep. Everybody's where we are. We all know where we are. No anxiety. And then I feel the 5th cat jump up. I'm like, wait a second. And I got wiggle the toes, check. Everybody's accounted for. Okay. Go back to sleep. But yeah, I absolutely. How can I not believe in something I've encountered repetitively? I may not know the definitions, but
yeah.
Foxy says, I never really see my grandfather, but I do catch my dad once in a while. That's cool. And, Ice Queen's joining us. Hello. How are you doing? Hey, all. It's really good. Ice Queen's incredibly cool. Hi, Ice Queen. Hey, Foxy. Bows Your Majesty. Hey, Thesis. And he typed, I'll treb bugs underneath a show. You see as spiders. Okay. I'm sure there's some typo there, and can't have another coffee, so I got myself some grape juice instead. Too early for a beer. Wise decision. Stay hydrated.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh.
Or is that Margaritaville?
You need to spend more time in the green room. Because 1, you just put songs in my head, and 2, I'm a devout teetotaler, but I understand and let others, have your fun, do it safe. It does make for some interesting conversations.
Just as long as you handle your high, that's all that matters.
And see,
Or
I have for all of that, my family has an allergy. You see, alcohol makes us break out in handcuffs. And, I'm the only one in a large part of the tree who either should not have or has not encountered the police in that kind of state and had to deal with the ramifications. So it's one of those where I can't, but y'all have fun. And as long as that kind of thing is on, I can be anywhere. And it means being the designated, let's see, I used to have pins when I'd go out with my friends. And one of them said designated driver. And that oftentimes got me free pop at, bars. A lot of times they'll be like, because it would be designated driver, token breeder, and emotional support Christian. Because I'd be in these places with my friends where it's like, I don't belong, but I'm welcome to travel through. And it's like, wait, what? Yeah, I end up in, walking through a Pride Fest that I didn't plan on going to because I turned down into it, or at a bar with somebody, at a different kind of bar with somebody, It's a way of getting people home. And Foxy says, hi, Xander. And Dawn says, hi, Xander. You can say hi back. Well, don't say hi, Jack, because if you're on a plane, they'll be confused. Anyway, I think he's moseyed on, but I know George visits now and then. Things happen, and the 2 current babies are accounted for. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I was curious what you said about crystal deposits. Is it just quartz, or does it apply to gypsum as well? Well, I'm going to say something interesting. I'm going to say a rare thing to hear on any internet program. I don't know, but I can look it up and get back to you.
All I know is a lot of them have their own special powers. I don't know anything about crystals or.
I have reference materials on the stones and what they. I haven't explored it a lot. I've done some really interesting thought exercises, made some colorful jewelry, and one object that I think the only person who knows about it is Trelena. That works so well. If I think about it too hard, it starts working. But
all I know is your local occult store will know all the details of that as well. So
consult your local spiritual or supernatural leader. I am not. God, it sounds like when I'm giving medical advice. I am not a doctor. I'm not a witch doctor. I am a petty dabbler in the slightly fuzzy arts at times. But Foxy says it can be many different types, but quartz is most common. Okay. Well, then I will defer to Foxy. But wow, 9 of you are still sticking around. Is there a geologist in the house? And I get technically gypsum isn't a crystal. So, but I don't know. My geologist uncle is cringing somewhere. I love crystals, so now I will say this: I have some experience with malachite. And it is a very, very strange rock because it's supposed to kind of be a ward against, darker energies, but it will also break if it's overloaded.
Oh.
And at one point, I had a necklace that was given to me by someone as a thank you for the help. And I went into a place and they popped like popcorn while like, this is bad juju. Okay. It kind of worked like a radiation tag. But is there a geologist in the house? I love crystals. Crystals are cool. My dad was a geologist, so I get into that stuff. Malachite is interesting, but don't lick it. Yeah, do not lick your geology. There's a whole list somewhere of science. Can I lick it?
Chemistry is do not lick.
Chemistry, do not lick. Biology licks you. There's just this whole list. I gotta find it sometime. Does Dwayne Johnson count? I've been asked many questions of advice and matters. Should you lick Dwayne Johnson?
I don't know if he'd enjoy it, but
I'm going to say that comes because I love taking these joke questions seriously. I delight in doing this. It becomes a matter of consent and sexual preference or romantic preference or dietary preference, I suppose.
I think you'd have to ask him if he'd lick you back if you were to lick him. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know a great many people who would enjoy licking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because, again, I've had friends and many of them are wrestling fans. And y'all, I'm gonna call someone. A lot of women give guys crud for y'all are too horny. I've been the token dude too at things, taking my female friends around places, and I will tell you, as soon as the ladies get by themselves, they outrace the men like 1,000 to 1. And don't come at me. I've read Beatrice Small. I know. It's just a romance novel. Uh huh. Oh, that's from the Aphrodisia line. Oh, really? You want to go? But let's see. This is great. Malachite has arsenic, so really don't lick it. I love stuff like that because it's like I have gained a possibly useful, obscenely bizarre fact. Don't lick malachite because it has arsenic. That is delightful.
And someone has tried that and, and found out.
I don't know if the mic caught my wife, quietly eavesdropping from the room, but she says, "Yeah, well, if there's somebody you don't like, boil it in their tea." Or I could catch what she was having you boil it in. It's like, dang it, dear. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love my wife, but I fear my wife out of sanity and respect. When I met her, she was, a heavy fighter in the SCA. So full armor, specializing in a 7.5-foot glaive, big pole arm. My wife's capstone paper for her bachelor's degree, and she has her master's in library goodness now, but was literally on medieval torture techniques, ranking them and how effective they were.
Is that how you guys met?
Okay. I guess I'm going to have to tell my cute how we met story. And this is a delightful one. I love telling the story. 6 months before I met my wife, I was on campus during my freshman year. And I'd walked by one of the club event things, and I saw a redheaded woman built like a condensed Jessica Rabbit, sword fighting with a guy who looked like a were-walrus. Great jowly and big long mustache. And I went, I don't know what's going on. I want to be part of it. I signed up for more information for them to reach out to me. Apparently, she lost it in the back of her truck for 6 months. Well, Amanda, who's working for working with that group, found it and was doing, club call out. We're doing meetings.
Sorry.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you had
I forgot to turn off that phone. It's usually nothing.
And at that time, I had a saying roommate is the closest way to say it. I was still living at my parents' house, but I'd also invited a friend to stay because he had lost his living situation. And 6 months later, I get this call. There's an SCA event. We're doing a member drive kind of thing on campus. It's going to be at this time. Would you be interested? And I'd just run up the stairs, so I was kind of winded, huffing and puffing. And I said, "Oh, sure." That was Mandy calling me. Apparently, she dug my voice. I, of course, did not know this. But I come walking into the cafeteria to see this about this group, and as was just my companion, we walk in. He and I are walking in, and I see there's a big, it's almost set up like a head table where there are a bunch of people in medieval clothes, and the aforementioned busty redhead is there. And next to her is this brunette, green-eyed brunette. And I look at her, and I swear it was like a gong went off in my mind. I've never felt anything like it. Just awestruck, just bong. The weirdest sense of complete finality. Like, it wasn't like hearts and flowers. It was just lock in. Just straight in from, whatever powers that be. Boom. And I look at my buddy, who went on to do some very bad things. That's why I'm not using his name. And I said, "You see the brunette over there?" He goes, "Yeah." "I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. I hope she's nice." Honest to God. And he goes, "That's funny. The redhead is more your style." And I go, "I am aware of this. However, the He goes, but the brunette's more my style. And I am not a macho personality.
Yeah.
Even when I'm angry or whatever, I am not that guy. But for like one moment, that guy crystallized in me. And I turned and I looked at him. I went, you can try. And I'm like, and I stopped like, where the hell did that? But we Matt had a wonderful time, worked in the club together, became good friends, and then I made a joke referencing something from Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter, by Laurel K. Hamilton. I called her Ma Petite, which is what the vampire says. I was being me. And she went, no, stop. And I'm like, I was about to walk away. It was one of the, and she holds up a book. And I look at it, and it's an omnibus, so I don't recognize the book title. But the author, I'm like, you read Hamilton? And it just went somewhere else because one, Hamilton is a very spicy author. If you haven't read Laurel K. Hamilton and you like spicy, she started out not spicy. And she went through a massive life change where she discovered things about herself.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of that, she found out that she was polyamorous and a few other things. And so her main character went on a similar journey with lots of vampires and werewolves and lots, just lots of lots. So, it made slipping into the dating mode a bit easier. But yeah, that's how I met my wife.
That's cute.
And it really was that love at first sight. I absolutely, without a doubt, knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with her.
Aw.
And I know it gets all mushy, but yeah, I'm a big softy. Look, the veneer of my testosterone laden macho persona online is clearly.
Hey, it's okay. My husband often reminds me that I was the one who told him that I loved him first, and it's just like, it's because sometimes I can't hold back my.
Oh, well, you know what? I will give you
my
an
feelings.
addendum to that, because if I'm going to tell that story, I have to tell this one. How we got engaged. My wife and I were on that shift with the classes where you pass, but you don't really see each other much. It's just the way the semester lined up. So, being that this is before cell phones were like what we think of a cell phone, and a text was a buck, we pass notes just like in high school. And I am a stream of thought, no filter writer. Whatever I'm thinking goes right on the paper. And when there's nothing, it's easy to be honest because I can't remember a lie, so I just go right. And I'm writing this paper, and this is going on, and this is going on. Class is going to be a pain, and schedule. And I want to apologize because I can't marry you yet. I don't have a job, and I just kept like middle of this paragraph. I'm like, I can't marry you yet. I don't have a job, and I didn't even think about it. It was just stream of thought. And I give her this note. And for 2 weeks, basically, we're kind of dancing around because I don't remember what I wrote. It was just, that's how I am, stream of thought. And she's talking and finally goes, you know what you wrote, right? And I went, okay, what did I write? And she says, she's like, marriage thing. Did you mean it? And I looked at her and said, well, that depends. On what? On if you think it's a good idea. If you think it's a good idea, yes, I mean it. If you don't, I was just joking. And so we got engaged, and then we got married on the same day we first started dating, so I wouldn't have to get another anniversary to remember because she knows my mind is rather. But let's see. I'm not going to bring up the conversations discussing certain chemical compounds.
Yeah, I'm learning so much from the chat. I don't
Yeah.
know if I should possess this knowledge.
There are a lot of mystery fans and mystery writers in this lovely group. And
I can see where your Google searches have come up from.
You know what, Google, if you're watching, because of course, Mr. Google is watching. I don't know. You got Bezos and you got Elon, and then you have Mr. Google, clearly. Anyway, Mr. Google, if you're watching, can you please give us a tag that we can put on when we do searches that it's okay, I'm a writer, in bracket? Because I would really like to make it easier on the assigned FBI, CIA, NSA, whatever uber overlooking agency is paying attention to me, or agencies, Men in Black, whatever. That no, I'm not doing anything shady. I'm just a writer, and I write military sci-fi stuff sometimes. I write war-based stuff sometimes, and I write horror in a lot of things. Even when I'm not trying to, it just gets into my writing. So, I'm not, it's like, I just need I'm a writer pass, not a freak. Just don't story.
Everybody needs that, Google should have that where after a certain amount of days it deletes your
oh yeah
your searches.
Let's see. It's like the Mike Jimmy. No, this isn't the Mike Jimmy 24-hour marathon.
I'll let you guys go back to your lives in a bit, but
oh no,
I'm having fun.
And they're not complaining at all. They're making fun of me because Wednesday they got me into a 5-hour stream.
Oh.
And I can't go an 8-hour stream or even a 5-hour stream because I have an 8 o'clock show on my other channel. So, I can't let them down. But let's see. Okay, I think I met Foxy because she was dating a friend, and I had to restrain myself from saying things when we first met because it would have been inappropriate. I'm going to say I have been there at different points. It was before I met Manda. Yes, I fully understand. But then again, I have to restrain myself from saying a lot of things a lot of times.
I met my husband during in high school.
Oh,
he was dating one girl that I found to be extremely annoying. And after they broke up, she was passing around a note that he wrote, and she was laughing about it. And I just right then and there, I was like, nope, this B is not worth, my time to be friends with her. So I pushed her out of my life.
I thought you were going to say a window.
Trust me, both me and Joe have made a pact that if he comes across her and he runs her over with the bus, that I'm his alibi.
Well, I don't know what was going on, but he was all the way in America with me. I'm not sure how that happened.
I became friends with him, and just my last year of high school is when we started dating. I can't really say, I don't know, I don't really like saying that we're high school sweethearts, but
well, and it's so weird when you're actually really good friends with your significant other, because it's like, when did we actually start dating? And we went on, said we're going on a date by ourselves here. But I'd taken her out to.
We argue constantly about our first date, though. It's like I invited him. This was, I think it was the week before Valentine's Day. I invited him out to see a movie with me and my sister and her boyfriend. And I'm just like, I don't want it. Like, I want to go see this movie, but I don't want to be like the third wheel on this date. So I invited Joe. And it was Miss Congeniality. And
that's a good movie. I'm comfortable saying that's a fun movie.
It was a
that's
great movie. I loved it. And like he likes watching these movies too. And I think the following movie was like Legally Blonde that we went to see.
Okay.
And then we went. He invited me out for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I claim that as our official date. He claims the movie the week before was our date. And I'm just like, I can't say that was a date because I invited you out as a friend.
It's so funny because like it's so easy to be dating and not realize it. It's like because you just sort of stumble into, and that's kind of how me and Mandy, like I knew, but you see, if you pay attention to me, and I could talk if Donna's not here anymore, so normally I would talk to Donna and remind her to keep the mojo in the dojo because it is a beautiful day, and I can be smooth and speak of the wondrous beauty of the lady, as long as I have no actual intent. The moment I have actual intent, I become a stuttering, stumbling, like wreck. And it's so funny because people have gone to my wife and like accused me of he was staring at me or he was flirting with me and you should know. Oh, Donna's back. He's back. Donna's back. Phone a friend. Because you know what? We're going to need a little help to get out of bed when we're done. But Donna, you just have a good day. And, I'm glad your cat has been fed. Anyhow, stick is necessary. I totally lost my train of thought because I had to flirt with Donna. But no, flirting. If I am flirting, which I do socially, it's almost like I follow this. There's this set of code of conduct that I don't know where it came from, but it's odd. It's like if somebody has gone out of the way to make themselves look extra nice and you don't flirt with them a little bit, it's rude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I have this whole list of these bizarre old rules like that, but they come and they yell at Mandy, your boyfriend was staring at me, and Mandy looks at this one like tall, skinny blonde, which that's 3 notches. Well, tall doesn't bother me too much, but she looks at her and she's got these really nice boots with really ornate buckles and like their funny closure. Goes, nah. $5 says he was looking at your boots. And I come walking up. I go, oh, hi. I'm sorry, I don't know you, but your boots are amazing. Those buckles are great. I was do you mind if I sketch them? I'm not trying to nothing creepy. I just want, because I would like to use those in a fantasy drawing I'm doing. And she's just like, because it's like that. And the other one, well, Nick was flirting with me. She goes, yeah, he flirts with everyone. Well, doesn't it bother you? Was he smooth? And I've actually heard this conversation. So this is was he smooth? Well, yeah, kind of. Then he didn't mean it. Honey,
that's exactly how I am too. Like I'm like the most awkward flirt, and I will flirt with anything. Like I'm like the female version of Jack Harkness. I will flirt with anything that has 2 legs and a heartbeat.
I mean, I will say horrendously flirty things to cars, to like computer.
I have no gaydar at all. Like you can be like in drag and the most like obnoxiously gay person, and I will still flirt with you.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah, I'm flirting and gay. So why would that deter me from friendly flirtation. Unless as long as you're not uncomfortable by it, I'm fine. The second you say uncomfortable, I'll lock it down.
Yep.
Because I believe in consent. But no, the things I say, heck, the things I say to Joe on this show. And Mandy's laughing hysterically because there's the running joke is Joey and Trey are part of our platonic polycule. And I don't know if platonic polycule is a term anywhere else, but it needs to be because I love it. But it's like I look at like I'm married. I'm terminally married. I'm only getting out of it by death. So that means I could flirt with everybody because there's no chance of anything happening. But God, this has been fun, and the assorted flirts in the chat. Johnny says, flirting, I'm just trying to communicate. Johnny, I love you, my friend. But I swear sometimes you manage to type in like flirty cursive. It is not fair how well you can.
I think that's a Latino trait, though.
Okay, there is an old Saturday Night Live skit where they would make fun of Antonio Banderas, and it was the Antonio Banderas's how you say, oh yes, no. And he had his little companion, and this guy'd be imitating Antonio Banderas. And he'd go, I was speaking to the lovely ladies. He goes, no, Antonio, don't say it. It's too sexy. No, don't unbutton your shirt. It's too much. It's too sexy. But I must for the ladies. And
any Latino, I'm sure, just sweats Spanish fly. It just comes out of their pores.
It's one of my favorite Saturday Night Live bits, especially the episode where they got Antonio on, and like Antonio were like, oh, it was glorious. How you say it, yes, but Johnny is just like the personification of that. And see, we're Thesis is a flirt, and Miss Saren says a little too relatable. Even money, that's on the if I'm serious, I'm stammering. And walking around the red chair, flirting while people ask about my swords and costumes. I usually know about more than they do. That's a Ren Fair. Oh, honey, a Ren Fair is when you get to fully let loose your flirtatious beast in all its magnificent, possibly throbbing glory. That is when you get to just be that extra version of yourself, because they're elves, they're dwarves, and they're on the menu. No, but I love that because I get to be that, the part that was trained not to exist. Well, hey, son. But which is entertaining. Of course it's entertaining. And I love Foxy's like, yes, he flirts. He's mine. No fear. But how are you holding up? I've kept it for 3 hours.
I'll let you guys go because it's starting to become lunchtime for me.
That's what I didn't want to keep you too much.
Oh,
if you wanted to go, I'd be happy. If you wanted to keep going at this, I'd be happy. But I think before I let you go and before I close this down, because I'm going to have to run at least a few ads, and I'll give you a chance to skedaddle if you want, or just duck out and wait till the end of the chat. Do you have anything you want to promote?
Okay, so tonight we're doing another round of the Multiverse fundraiser. So come join us. Me and Kelly are going to be talking to the guy who is in charge of Comic Books for Kids, the charity that we're raising money for. So that's at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 Eastern. So please join us tonight. I will be in full-blown costume, and hopefully Kelly will be as well. So yeah. And if you guys missed anything from yesterday, please go to the Multiverse fundraiser page and on both YouTube and our Facebook page. and rewatch some of the videos from last night. You guys can also catch what we did last year. We raised money for brain fart. There we go. We had Amy Yazbek last year.
That's wonderful, and it's so cool that you're using. I respect people who get a platform and immediately use it for good. That's something I just think is great. But it looks like everybody's getting ready to sign out and say, she flirts more than I do. I do not. This argument, you're about equal anyway, and they're saying bye, even if it's just with their eyes. And John Ritter. And okay, guys, I'm going to run a couple ads because I owe you guys that, and then I am going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being on, Willow. I hope you had a good time.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad that your power's on. And
anytime. I'm sorry you didn't get the cell phone powered Nevermind the Furthermore by candlelight that I was planning as a fallback, but this seems to work better for everyone. And anytime you want on to chat or something, or if you have a project, reach out and we'll have you on again.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right. So let's see. I probably should run. Oh no, I already ran the cryptid ad. Oh, I have a new Aptilian ad. We'll start with that, and then we'll run through probably a bunch of short ones. So see you in a minute.
Hello, I'm Dan Hallfield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Abelian Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphellion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we need to, for the folks, some of the people who are coming to IndieCD.con, the indie creator event in Fowler, Indiana, get to show off some of their stuff, including Trelena's. Alrighty, and I want to run at least Cat's ad, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll do a whole bunch more ads next time because.
Hi, this is Kat. During the school year, I'm Mrs. Rothermel, but otherwise, I'm Rock and Roll Art Goddess, writing about my past and filming the present. I need you to join my Rock and Roll Art army and to check out my merch on Zazzle.com. What started out as journal therapy is now 4 books, I see, and an Instagram account to blow off steam, becoming a book, with another to do the same. A short film for a friend. No, this is not the end. Peace, love, and let me art.
Okay, I'm going to send you the link to the folder to drop that in so I can try to upload it into StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Because I want that. Because if it goes in there, everybody else who's associated and has access can pull it back out and spread it around. That's kind of how I get, I spread ideas. Let me make sure everything, and we'll put that up. Great comment. And go there, guys. Sign up, follow her, support a great cause. With that, guys, I want to remind you guys to keep drawing, keep writing, keep creating. Because anything you make, you can edit, you can improve, you can fix, but you can't edit a blank page. I love you, and you should too. I'll be back actually on my other channel at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Historical Fencing Guild's live stream. I've got some good stuff to talk about over there, swords and shenanigans, as usual. And Willow, you got anything else you want to say?
No, that just I hope you guys in between watching Nick's stuff, I hope you guys tune into the Multiverse fundraiser, and it's going on all weekend.
All righty, guys. Toodles, we're out.
Have a good day.